This says that Dusty's leaving Chaz on the bench is frustrating some within the organization. Okay. It doesn't say who, but there you go. Some people in the organization frustrated that Chaz has been on the bench. Dusty Baker leaving him there. It says this week, 4 people with knowledge of the team's inner workings said that McCormick's weight has become a talking point for Baker. Has a bunch of quotes in this article from Chaz about playing heavier this year. Says he's about 10, 15 pounds heavier than he was last year. Likes being at this weight. Feels like he's stronger. Feels better at this weight. Dusty was asked about Chaz's weight. And Dusty was like, why would you even ask me that? That goes on to say that Chaz isn't, or Dusty said basically, paraphrasing, that Chaz isn't one of the big boys of this team, like Altuve, like Jordan, like
he didn't
Bregman,
mention
like
Jordan
Tucker.
either, which was ridiculous.
Probably forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan's one of the big boys for sure. Now, the other side of this argument is Chas McCormick has started 42 of the last 50 games. So, we got to tell both sides of the story here. If Chandler Rome, saying Dusty, has an issue with Chas McCormick's weight because he's heavier, Dusty was kind of taken aback at the questioning about Chas McCormick's weight, and Dusty saying that Chaz basically isn't one of the big boys, and Chaz has started 42 of the last 50 games. My theory is that Chandler's source, and tell me if I'm crazy here, Joe, tell me if I'm crazy here, Blankers, I believe that Chandler's source is Chas McCormick.
That's it?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think
where else is he getting that Dusty does not like Chaz? Who's telling Chandler Rome that Dusty does not like Chaz?
I think
who's telling Chandler Rome that people are talking about his weight and then Chaz is quick to the quote saying I'm 50 to 20 pounds heavier?
I think that with all beat writers that cover the team and they make relationships, this could be someone in analytics. This could be someone. This could legitimately be someone in Dana Brown's camp.
Sure.
This could be guys that clearly state they are not at liberty to speak to the media, so they have to be anonymous and off record. But conversations at the batting cages, conversations, in and around the inner workings of Minute Maid, they happen all the time in all sports. I believe that there are some people that leak some things or just straight out tell you some things that they don't want to have it associated with them, but they're not afraid to tell you.
Sure.
And I think that I think there's a lot of baseball guys in that organization that aren't old school like Dusty, that don't believe that Dusty can just say and do whatever he wants to say and do, that believe that that in their departments or within key people within their organization that feel like Chaz should play more.
Sure. Agree with that.
So that's why I don't think it's just Chaz.
Okay. But who's telling Chandler Rome that Dusty does not like Chaz? Who is telling Chandler Rome that Dusty's criticizing Chas McCormick's weight? Who is telling Chandler Rome in this article with multiple quotes, here's my weight. I'm 220 pounds. Usually I'm 216. When I'm 210, I'm too light. There's this to me is fishy. Like the way that this story came out today, when Chas McCormick's played 42 of 50 games, when we've not heard a weight issue at all. Have y'all heard a weight issue about Chas McCormick? Joe, have you heard a weight issue about Chas McCormick? This comes from absolutely nowhere. Chaz is playing a ton. Chaz is giving quotes here. Dusty's taken aback whenever he's asked about Chaz's weight. He's being criticized for not liking Chas McCormick, but he's playing him all the time. This one to me is fishy. I'll be completely honest. This one to me stinks.
I'm trying to think of the best examples to give you, but there's been times when there's been inner strife with teams. And other players are going to tell you. Other players have relationships with the beat writers that cover this team. And somebody's going to get wind of something, and then you're going to get the alleged storylines. You're going to get this happened at practice, or it started on the plane, or, these two guys, this or that. And players are going to go, you know what? Whether it's be some of the leaders of the team or otherwise, whether they talk to Dusty directly or it's been brought up or around the cages, people hear it. Some players, they got their own agendas too sometimes too, where they'll flip something to the.
Sometimes the players have agendas, right?
And sometimes the players themselves. You're right. Some players do it themselves. Look, Van Gundy was the guy that didn't like confrontations with players, and he would use the media as a pawn and a tool to get his message out. Same way players could do it. Agents do it all the time. We talk about when they break stories with Woj and otherwise of, trying to manipulate what they want to get out of a certain situation by using the media. It happens.
Yeah, I think Chaz is the source here. I'll be completely honest. 6955, Chaz played in 42 of the last 50 games, not started. Not correct. Chas McCormick has started 42 of the 50 games since the All-Star break. He's played in 44. So Chaz is still playing a lot.
I was going to ask you this earlier. Wasn't there a couple, though, where we questioned, matchups conducive to Chaz, righty lefty.
Yeah,
Chas
there was
should
one
be
in the Yankee series.
and then he didn't play the game after that either.
The Yankee series was odd. Like the Yankee series, Dusty handling of Chas was bizarre.
Yeah, that's the one that really stuck out to me. I knew there was an issue.
Because Friday he didn't start against a lefty. He was left on the bench. John Singleton was on deck with 2 outs in the 9th inning, but he didn't ever get to the plate. Saturday, Chas started, but was lifted for John Singleton late in that game, and then Sunday he was on the bench again.
Yep.
So, I mean, Dusty has handled Chas McCormick in trivial ways. It's just interesting to, have that Dusty does not like Chas. Where did Rome get that? It's weird the weight stuff comes out all of a sudden today after Chas was sitting yesterday, and then Chas has all these quotes in The Athletic about this, and then Dusty, whenever he was asked about it in the media, is like, why would you ask me that? He literally said, why would you ask me that? So this one stinks to me. Like, Chas is playing a lot. Chas has been playing a lot. Like, this one smells. This one smells.
I hear what you're saying. I just think that it's possible from a couple of different directions. It could be players. It could be other coach. It could be a coach or something. We know how Cora was so hypersensitive and ended up turning on AJ Hinch. You get one bad apple or one guy that's got, like I said, a different agenda, player, coach, someone in the front office, or a couple guys that have a relationship with one of the beat writers. These things can get out.
713-780-ESPN, 2568. I'll take Fat Chas with that bat versus what he did last year in both the field and at the plate. He's been incredible this year. I believe that he should be an everyday guy. Look, I think he should start more than 42 of every 50 games.
You and I both. I've been pounding the drum for Chas and for Yiner, and I don't disagree with you because I believe he should be the starting center fielder every single freaking game.
It's weird. Who is your guess in the organization that is frustrated by this? If you had to pick one guy, who would be the guy that you're pointing the finger to? You already know mine. I think it's Chas.
I think it probably was. Honestly, I think it was generated by a player.
Okay.
Joe, there's clicks within. Look, I've been in one of the worst clicks of all time with a team. I mean,
you worked with the Rockets
with the whole team. James versus Dwight. That thing got so personal and so ugly, and it was whose side do you want? The actual players. You get your clicks of players within a dugout or within a locker room, and I don't think there's. To me, this is another player.
Who's your guess, Joe? Got to pick one. Who's your irresponsible guess of who's leaking this to Chas McCormick that he's fat?
Trainer.
Oh, Jeremiah Randall.
Or
Maybe.
others,
but because there's more than one trainer. But
man, they usually don't get injury stuff though. You know what I mean?
But weight stuff.
Yeah,
that's where it's,
maybe strength and conditioning. Maybe the strength guy.
Yeah. Like it feels it's someone that clearly in the organization believes that Dusty has a vendetta against Chas, whether that's Chas or someone else, because this isn't the first time. Like the first report was straight up that Dusty just doesn't like Chas.
But usually,
that was Chandler.
But who is the first person that's going to, not necessarily publicly, but if a manager has a vendetta against a player, who's going to be the first person that's upset by that? Not necessarily publicly.
The
player that's upset that has that vendetta against
Wasn't
him.
it Yiner with the emoji with the me when he should
that was pretty
playing?
That was public.
Yeah, that was gutsy for a rookie.
Yeah,
Chas McCormick married?
It could have been anything. I believe so. There's some interesting likes.
That's another great call, Joe.
Now, there's some interesting likes on Chas McCormick's Twitter, and there's some interesting likes on Chas McCormick's brother's Twitter.
Yeah, definitely. It's his
Just
brother.
saying.
It's his brother.
It says within the organization. It's Chas.
I mean,
it's Chas.
I think it's one of Chaz's buddies on the team.
Remember how Chas aggravated his back? Deadlifting early in the year. Getting strong, packing on muscle. Gaining all that weight.
I'm with the texter. I'm not going to complain with that OPS and with the extra pop in his bat. I'm not complaining. And they, what is it, like 0.6 of a point that in terms of how his ability to get to balls it has changed in the negative. He doesn't get to as many baseballs in center field. I'll live with all of that. You're giving me the offensive production you're giving me.
Like it's 6 pounds. Like he's not fat.
Yeah, he's not fat.
Like it's not. We're not talking James Harden here.
If this is true that Dusty
or Christian
it does not like Chas because he's a little bit strong with muscle, then it's a major problem. I'm going to give Dusty the benefit of the doubt here. He's played him 42 of 50 games. He started him 42 of 50 games. He started him in the playoffs. Do I think that Dusty in the past has not liked Chas? Yes. Do I think he currently dislikes Chas because he's a little heavier? I don't. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry.
I just think he still has issue. He still has he has some kind of issue with Chas. He likes to tinker with Chas more than anybody else.
He does that. Those are facts. I can't argue that. Some of the people on the Twitch said that maybe Joe Espada, Alex Cintron has come up. Martin Maldonado Came up on the text line as well. That was kind of interesting. 8327, the only reason he started Chaz in the playoffs is because Jake Myers got hurt. Let's be real here. I don't remember Jake getting hurt last year in the playoffs. I remember him being terrible.
Yeah, he was coming back from being hurt, both mentally and physically, and he didn't come back real well. So, yeah, there was really no
sent
chance.
Him down, too.
They did. Yeah, remember? Then they brought him back for the playoffs
sucked.
just to put him as like a pinch runner situation.
Yeah, he started one game, which to the point, like he did start one playoff game, and he was like overmatched, and they're like, let's go back to Chaz. 8327, my guess is it's Chaz's agent, Adrian. That comes from Adrian. Now, the issue with that is that Chandler said it came from within the organization. How many games has Chaz started in center field, though? That to me doesn't matter as much. Like, as long as Chaz is starting, because Brantley's going to get days off. You know, Jordan's not going to play left field a whole lot. So I don't really care where Chaz is playing. Now, because Brantley's back, you probably need it to be in center field. 6955, Dusty hating Chaz goes back to the disagreement with ex-GM James Click. Click traded Miles Straw to force Dusty to play Chaz, which made Dusty mad. Since then, he's had an axe to grind with Chaz all over Miles Straw. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Remember last year, too, he had that weird thing where he refused to play Chaz in center. It was like Jake Myers in center field, Mauricio Dubon's in center field, Jose Siri's going to play center field, but Chas McCormick's in left. And then Click was in the dugout like, no, Chas McCormick's a center fielder. And then all of a sudden, he started playing Chaz in center field again.
Yeah. So, I mean that's the thing. Look, there's a history there. And there's a timeline of everything that I said. I don't understand the why. None of us ever will unless you are internal and maybe only those two guys specifically. But there's definitely something there that Dusty has against Chaz. And I think as a manager, when you're trying to win baseball games, you need to be able to overlook that. You can do that in your personal time and off the side, but you cannot do that and let it affect the outcome of the team on the field.
I think there's something in his play that Dusty doesn't like.
Maybe because we know from time to time he can be a little aloof.
I don't think it's personal. I really don't. I don't think it's personal. I think there's times whenever like he doesn't take the extra base. I think there's times when he gets slow jumps. I think there's times whenever he doesn't make like the professional play.
He slaps a first baseman's mitt running down the game.
I think there's the
line.
little non-professional, like not that like taking the extra bag's unprofessional, but it's like make the professional play there. Like there was that one where Chaz didn't take third base in a critical game in extra innings like very early in the year.
I remember it.
Yeah, so like I think it's the little things like that that kind of rubs Dusty the wrong way.
But you know what? I'm gonna disagree. I think that could be part of it. This is men with egos and attitudes, and I think honestly that it's there's something else to it. There's something else that isn't even baseball related that somehow for some reason why Dusty just has a little bit of an axe to grind with Chaz.
Yeah.